The clock on the wall doesn't just tick, it pulses. A rhythmic, metallic heartbeat echoing in a room that feels far too crowded for only one person. Outside, the world is dimming, the streetlights humming to life with a buzzing sound that vibrates somewhere behind the eyes. It is supposed to be the end of the day, a time for the off switch, a time for the noise to settle into silence.
But the noise is louder now. It's the unanswered text from 3 p.m. It's the 3 tabs left open on the browser, each one a silent demand. It's the lingering question of whether the tone in that meeting was too sharp or if the silence afterward was sharper. The list, the invisible, heavy, ever-growing list is still there, pinned to the inside of the skull, a mountain of did I and should I and what if.
Tomorrow is already a ghost at the door, cold and demanding, but the body is still anchored in today's unfinished business. The eyes are heavy, yet the mind is a frantic bird trapped in a cage of its own making. There is a specific kind of ache in the forehead, a pressure that feels like trying to hold back a flood with a paper dam. How can one person be so exhausted and so restless at the exact same time? How can the world feel so empty and yet so impossibly full of things that need to be decided?
This isn't just a busy week. It isn't just a lack of sleep. This crushing weight of the unchosen, this paralysis in the face of the mundane, this fog that turns every simple yes or no into a grueling marathon, it has a name: decision fatigue. It is the silent depletion of the soul's currency. It is the cost of living in a world that never stops asking for a choice.
Think back to the morning. It started with the alarm, the first decision. Snooze or rise. Then the wardrobe, the blue shirt or the gray. The coffee, black or with a splash of something to soften the edge. By 9 a.m., 100 tiny grains of sand had already been dropped onto the scale. Each one insignificant, each one weightless. But by noon, the scale is tilting. By 5, it is groaning. And by now, in the hollow hours of the night, the scale has shattered.
The brain is not a machine, it is a biological battery, and every choice, from the color of a font to the wording of a resignation, draws from the same finite well of power. There is no separate tank for the big stuff. The energy spent deciding which cereal to buy is the same energy needed to decide the future of a career. And when the well runs dry, the static begins. The static. That blurring of the edges, the way the grocery store aisle suddenly feels like a battlefield where the 20 brands of olive oil are all screaming for attention. The way a simple question like, "What do you want for dinner?" can feel like a direct assault, a demand for a piece of self that no longer exists. The mind begins to take shortcuts. It defaults to the easiest path even if it's the wrong one. Or worse, it simply stops. It freezes. It stays in the today that won't end because the thought of tomorrow requires a level of planning that feels like climbing Everest in pajamas.
It is a poetic irony, isn't it? To be surrounded by more freedom than any generation in history, more flavors, more paths, more options, and yet to feel more trapped than ever. We're drowning in the luxury of choice, suffocating under the pressure to make the best one, the right one, the optimized one. We spend hours researching a $20 purchase, afraid to lose a single cent of value, while we bleed out the most precious value of all, our mental peace. But listen to the space between the thoughts. The weight can be set down. Not all at once, perhaps. The mountain won't vanish because of one deep breath, but the grip can loosen.
What if the answer is not to do more or choose better? What if the answer is to choose less? To build a fortress around the morning, to let the body move on autopilot because the decisions have already been made by a version of oneself that wasn't tired. The same clothes, the same breakfast, a radical, quiet refusal to spend the battery's charge on the trivial. What if the unfinished today is allowed to remain unfinished? The world will not crumble if the email remains unwritten for another 8 hours. The sun will still rise if the sink is not empty. The perfect choice is a ghost. It cannot be caught. The good enough choice, however, is a lifeline. It is a way to stop the bleed.
The mind needs a sanctuary, a place where "I don't know" is a valid answer, a place where the noise of modern life is turned down to a low, distant hum. Close the eyes, not to sleep, not yet, but just to see the darkness, to realize that in the dark there are no choices to make. There is only the breath, in and out. The static is starting to fade. The pressure behind the eyes is softening. The ghost of tomorrow can wait at the door a little longer. It has no power here, not in this moment of stillness, not in this deliberate, beautiful silence. In the silence.
The day is done, not because the list is finished, but because the light has changed, because the mind has decided, just this once, that it is given enough. Breathe, and maybe click subscribe before the next decision pulls you away. Stay in the quiet. If this sounded like your mind, stay with us. The next episode goes deeper into the art of clearing the fog. But for now, just stay here, in the silence.